Now, this is a story all about how Leeds United just went down, and if you'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the saviour on Football Manager. In West Yorkshire, founded and raised at Ellen Road is where they spent most of their days, scoring lots of goals and acting all cool, playing some football outside of school, when a couple of teams who were up to no good started taking 3 points in their neighbourhood. They lost one too many games and the championship awaited, confirmed in May as Leeds were relegated. The board begged and pleaded with me as they were desperate to get me in the manager's seat. They gave me a contract and a negative transfer budget. I put on my suit and thought, oh well, f*** it. I pulled up to the club around 7 or 8 and I yelled to the cabbie, yo Holmes, smell you later. Looked at my kingdom, I was finally there to take control of Leeds on Football Manager. Leeds have had their ups and downs over the years, but in the last 2 decades, far more downs than ups. Well, not anymore, as we're here to take Leeds back to the top. So, let's get started. Of course, we're using My World so we can redo the summer transfer business. However, we do start with -5 million in the budget, so yeah, great. Now, obviously, -5 million in the budget isn't great, but hang on. 71 million in the bank? Come on board. Okay, so with a reasonable squad and some talent available to sell, and hey, Saudi Arabia are here, so I think we'll be alright. Time to create a tactic based on who we have at the club, but we will start as a base of a 4-2-3-1 and go from there. Maybe, at some point, we'll sneak a second striker in. The first thing I've noticed is Robin Koch is leaving on a free transfer next year. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly how you pronounce his surname, but we'll go with it because he wants to leave on a free. Koch. Looking over the squad, we're in decent shape with some very highly rated youth prospects, and with the board only wanting us to reach the playoffs this season, I think it's time to give them a lot of minutes. We sold Pervader for 1.6 million to start trying to get some transfer funds, but we got slapped with a 30% sell-on clause from City. Is this how things are going to be? 1 step forward, 2 steps back? Helder Costa was also shipped off, and we got a whole 1.3 million this time before the big sale of Robin Koch for 16.5 million. The world's most expensive cock. Now with money to spend, it's time for Wonder Kid hunting, and where better to start than left-back prospect Valentin Barco. Oh. Alright. Time for plan B then. Centre-back prospect Peterborough's Ronnie Edwards might want to join us? Apparently not. Oh, and then adding to our centre-back woes, Liam Cooper's gone to Burnley for 6.25 million. We then took the shackles off as we sold Jamie Shackleton, 4 million. And the Leeds United fire sale continued as Luke Ayling went to Saudi Arabia, 6 million. After these sales, we now have 30 million to spend, and spend it we shall. Young centre-back prospect Nagalo, and a bargain. What a signing he'll be. And he joined Spurs. Baselli at right back would be quite the capture. And he joined Sheffield United. But despite our transfer woes, the media think we're going to go up as champions. Whilst may I remind you, the board will be happy with a playoffs push. And we finally make a signing, Franco Gonzalez, who looks brilliant by the way, and only cost 300k. Well done, scouts. He required a work permit appeal, but we got him, not a defender though. And we put the challenge out to the scouts to find us some defenders, and they found left-back prospect Andres Salazar. What a name. He's not quite good enough right now, but he has huge potential, and at 1.4 million, worth a punt if you ask me. But we can't buy a centre-back for love nor money, as Mwanga joined PSG. Now with Patrick Bamford injured for a few months, we need a new number 9. Maybe someone for the long term, maybe someone we're familiar with. Come on then, Lorenzo, let's be having you. Ugh, his work permit's been rejected. I forgot about this problem. But wait a second, what's this? ESC place? Well, here he is then. Lorenzo Luca, welcome to Leeds. Alex Scott was our next target, and for 10 million, don't mind if we do. Although he is injured for a couple of months, but worth the risk if you ask me. At least in my opinion, but not in the opinion of the board. They've cancelled the deal. I'll keep the money and come back in January then, Alex. Before we could conclude our transfer business, the season started. At home to Cardiff, it was time to make a great first impression, and we did just that, going 3-0 down. An absolute shambles of a start. We did manage to get some pride back as we grabbed a couple of goals, but ultimately we lost 3-2. Awful. We finally got a centre-back in, Ismail Doucouré, who joined for £9 million. One for the future, but will certainly get game time this season. And we didn't hold ourselves in much better regard in the Carabao Cup against Grimsby. We managed to scrape through on penalties after conceding a 90th minute equaliser. And there's an injury crisis, so yeah, not ideal. But we managed to take the win against Birmingham 2-0. Our first proper win as Leeds boss. We then moved for young Italian sensation Luca Lipani for £3 million. Another great young prospect. I still want Alex Scott, but to be honest, if I need to raise funds, I could let someone go in January. We absolutely dismantled West Brom 5-1, before levelling the wins and losses out with a 3-1 defeat to Ipswich. In the Carabao Cup against Chelsea, it was Sam Greenwood from the spot who hit the post, but we reacted first and Greenwood managed to tap home to put us ahead. Nicholas Jackson pulled Chelsea level before half-time, but back we came as Daniel James finished off a great passing move to restore our lead. The Premier League quality then shone through as Ernest Nuamah equalised for Chelsea, then Mikhailo Mudryk slotted home to give the hosts the lead. However, another penalty, this time Lorenzo Lucas stepped up and dispatched coolly into the top corner. With 7 minutes to go, a winner was scored and it was a second of the game for Sam Greenwood. A classic game and a fantastic win for us away at Chelsea. Cup run anyone? Crysencio Somerville had an offer from Burnley, but I didn't really need the money and I kinda wanted to keep him, so to appease him we spoke and I agreed I'd sell him for £29 million. Burnley came back in and we actually negotiated up to £35 million. They said yes, so Crysencio, don't come crying back to me if you say no. Deadline day and Somerville left for £35 million, which gave us money to spend, so spend it we shall. Abdou Diallo was on the transfer list for £1 million, a solid acquisition at centre-back if you ask me, and his wage demands were pretty reasonable, 40k a week. And then we went back to Italy and another Luca, this time Luca Di Andrea, who joined Lipani and Lorenzo. At Leeds, we've somehow become very Luca'd up. The young winger set us back £8.5 million, who's a great prospect who could either be flipped for a profit or just be a superstar. And of course Brazil's a hotbed for wonder kids and we wandered in for Talas Wander and he agreed terms and wandered over to Leeds. Eh? No? Alright, suit yourselves. We signed Talas Wander. Luton then came in for Daniel James and I'm not too keen on him to be honest, so we negotiated their £9.5 million offer up to £14 million and they accepted. So off he went. And that's it for our business. We spent just under £30 million and brought in 84 back to the club. We have lots of money in the bank and budget for any moves we may make in January, but overall, a great window. Now, down to business on the pitch. We beat Sheffield Wednesday 3-1, then it was the story of 90th minute drama. After Millwall took the lead after 2 minutes to go 1-0 up, Jorginho Rutter equalised with a lovely left-footed curled effort in the 92nd minute. We then got burned by the 90th minute heartbreak as Hull grabbed a late equaliser. Then a 0-0 against Watford made it 3 draws in a row, which means after 8 games, we're 11th, mid-table. Not looking great so far. Then the Premier League heroics came to an end as we lost 3-2 to Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, and it got even worse as we lost 1-0 to Southampton after conceding a goal in the first minute. We did get back to winning ways as we beat QPR 3-2 and Alex Scott's Bristol City 3-0. We then got battered by runaway leaders Norwich 5-2, so our indifferent form continued. We're still mid-table, 10th this time, so we are climbing, slowly but surely. Lorenzo Luca now thinks he should be starting more games, and to be honest Lorenzo, your form this far has been rubbish. But go on then Lorenzo, I believe in you. Show me what you've got. And show me what he's got. He did, as he scored a magnificent hat-trick in a 3-1 win against Stoke. That kind of performance will keep you in the team, Lorenzo, and to be honest, that's exactly why I signed you. More of that please. This was followed up with a 2-0 win against Huddersfield, a 1-0 against Leicester, and then a 1-0 against Plymouth. We kept up the clean sheet run with a 0-0 against Rotherham, and then we rounded off the month in style with a 4-0 win against Swansea. And out of nowhere, this has put us 4th after 18 games, well inside the playoff mix, which is where the board need us to be. We started December indifferently with a 3-0 loss to Middlesbrough, then a 3-1 win against Blackburn, before alternating back to losing as we lost 2-0 to Sunderland. We've slipped down to 8th after 21 games, the form is patchy, indifferent, and ultimately, things need to change. We're not scoring enough goals, so it's time for a change in system. 2 up top, the classic Jayhuahua way, and of course, we're going asymmetric. Could our fortunes change? Well, it started well against Coventry as Nonto opened the scoring before both forwards combined as Nonto fed in Luca, who lashed home to make it 2 by half time. Max Wöber scored an absolute thunderbolt to make it 3, and yeah, this changing system got off to a fantastic start. You might say I'm a tactical genius. Now, we've just lost 2-1 to Ipswich, and with that loss we're now down in 9th. That's 3 defeats in December. Things need to pick up in the new year. However, the board just gave us more money for January. To be honest, I don't think I need it, but hey, I'll take it. So with £55 million to spend, I did what any normal person would: trawl the South American youth teams. And would you look at that? An excellent youth intake preview. I am a little suspicious of that. As Christmas rolled in, Santa visited Leeds and gave all the players, fans and myself a much needed gift of goals. We battered Preston 6-2 with a hat-trick for Nonto, helping us on our way. Even defensive midfielder Lewis Bate popped up with a goal from 25 yards out. Some lovely passing move goals. Has the tide turned with this change in formation? Yeah, I think it has. Back-to-back 6-2 wins and back-to-back hat-tricks for one of our strikers, Lorenzo Luca this time stepping up. We also had another goal of the month contender for Max Wöber. You sure he's a left-back? And with those 2 wins, we've snuck back into the playoffs to end the year. So yeah, it's looking like things might be on the up. Roll on 2024. The new year started and we really started to tick. We kicked things off with another dominant display, beating Birmingham 4-1, a brace for Lorenzo Luca. We delved into the transfer market and purchased a selection of young talents, setting us up for years to come. I hope. We signed Emerson for $2 million. We finally went and got Alex Scott for $13.5 million. It was not only the signing of the window, but signing of the season. I'm calling it now. Sorry Lorenzo, but true. Michael? Brazilian Michael for £2 million. Breno Biden for $3.3 million. And Van der Land for $5 million. That was it for the business coming in, but going out, Patrick Bamford wants to leave, and when Saudi Arabia came knocking, we accepted an £8 million bid. And back to the action on the pitch in the FA Cup against Stoke, it was another brace for Lorenzo Luca. He's really settling in and finding his feet, but what's arguably the most satisfying is Alex Scott popped up with a debut goal. We then hit Cardiff for 5 in a magnificent display. Max Wöber scored 2 to give us a 1-0 lead, then a 2-1 lead, the most prolific left back I think I've ever seen. Then he popped up with an assist for Luca, who kept up his great form. He made it 6 in 3 as Wilfred Nonto pulled it back for a 4th. Nonto got onto the score sheet himself after an awful through ball from Rutter was missed by the defender, and he dispatched to seal the win. We continued our free-flowing scoring as we hit another 5 past Preston, before stuttering somewhat as we drew 2-2 with Barnsley in the FA Cup. Then we got a draw against Norwich, runaway leaders Norwich that is, so yeah, a pretty good way to round off January. And after that we find ourselves in 5th. Norwich are storming away and Ipswich are comfortably in 2nd. It's very, very tight in the playoff picture, so we'll have to keep up our good form to hold on to this position. We then beat Bristol City 3-1 before we went on a 5-0 spree. Firstly against Barnsley in the FA Cup 4th round replay, a hat-trick for our boy Lorenzo taking home the match ball. We then took apart Rotherham 5-0 with 5 great goals, and it was 3 5-0 wins in a row as we dispatched of Swansea with new boy Van der Land not only bagging himself an assist, but also getting on the score sheet. And the good form looked set to come to an end as we went 2-0 down quickly against Plymouth Argyle. We weathered the early storm and went in at half time still 2-0 down. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed, I said. False, I threw a water bottle, but it galvanised the troops as Luca Di Andrea pulled one back just before the hour mark. Then 10 minutes later, Mark Roker bent one into the top corner to pull us level. Jorginho Rutter secured us the 3 points in a dramatic turnaround, making a real statement in our pursuit of the playoffs. Even promotion automatically. This is definitely a possibility as Ipswich lost 5-4 and we're now within a point of them. We're also now achieving daylight between us and the chasing pack for the playoffs, meaning at the very least we should achieve the board's seasonal objectives. A great win against Leicester made it 5 wins in a row before we crashed out of the FA Cup to Sheffield United. But that didn't stop the supporters voicing their support for me. An A+! Never seen anything of the like. It was a late-ish Mark Roker goal against Huddersfield that gave us the 3 points before the drama unfolded once more against Stoke. As it looked all set to finish 0-0, we gave away a penalty in the 87th minute, Vidal tucking it away. We dug deep, and in the 96th minute, Wilfred Gnonto came up with the equaliser, keeping our unbeaten run going. But wait, there's more, and it's more from Gnonto, as he made it 2-1 in the 98th minute. Unbelievable scenes at Ellen Road. We then battered Sheffield Wednesday 5-1 before the Millwall game, and it was a classic Leeds game once more. Millwall found themselves 2-0 up at half-time, and the Leeds players got the famous Jayhuahua team talk, the war ball. Cue the fight back once more as Rutter pulled one back in the 67th minute, then Gnonto lashed home in the 76th minute. In the 90th minute, 90th minute drama once again, it was youngster Franco Gonzalez who turned and shot from outside the box, hitting the post, but it rebounded perfectly to him for a second bite of the cherry, and this time he did score. 3-2. Rodrigo made it 4 deep in stoppage time as Millwall hunted for that elusive equaliser. And now we're in the automatic promotion places, albeit by only a point, but we have leapfrogged Ipswich. And things were going well, and despite the excellent youth intake promise, it came through as good. Not excellent, but better than expected, as it never meets the initial hype, does it? Then the NXGN Awards threw up some names that are in our squad, /youth team, /out on loan, which is very satisfying to see. After that, we took apart Watford 5-1. We remain in the automatic promotion places with our form in 2024 absolutely breathtaking. We haven't lost a league game all year and only drawn one against runaway leaders Norwich. That's not bad, eh? Match week 40, we drew 0-0 with Hull, but Ipswich lost, so we're a point further clear. Norwich are basically champions at this point. The race for second is between us and Ipswich. And as we faltered again, this time 1-1 against Coventry, Ipswich had Norwich, who beat them 3-1, so we pulled a point further clear. We then beat Sunderland 2-0 and Blackburn 4-1, as Ipswich lost a thriller against Middlesbrough 4-3. Thank you, Middlesbrough. And Ralph, you can't keep a great man down. Or out of my videos, apparently. So with 3 games remaining, we're 6 points clear and have a superior goal difference. Winning just one of the remaining games will get us promotion. But Ipswich drew in game 44 and we are the late kickoff. A point is all we need from 3 games. The tension builds. Somewhat. Okay, not really. And after 25 minutes, Wilfred Gnonto put us ahead. We've got 1 foot in the Premier League, lads. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, as this is a Jayhuahua team we're talking about, and in true bottle job fashion, Middlesbrough not only equalised, but scored a winner. Meaning promotion will have to wait for another day. On to QPR then, to gain promotion. After a successful team meeting, we took the lead once again through Wilfred Gnonto. This feels a bit familiar. Elias Chair equalised for QPR, and that sinking feeling was compounded as they took the lead in stoppage time at the end of the first half. Throwing everything at them in the second half, our persistence was finally rewarded in the 92nd minute as they tried to play one too many passes, and Gnonto equalised and secured our promotion in the most dramatic fashion possible. Although there was still a game left, and also Ipswich did lose, so regardless of what happened here, we were up. Taking nothing away from Gnonto though. And with 1 game remaining, the budgets are set. £48 million! We already had 30 in the bank from my expert wheeler dealing. This is the Premier League we've got to try and stay up in. And you've given me £18 million on what I already earned. I'm not happy at that, board. We did win on the final day. Another 90th minute winner. This is very quickly becoming our trademark. So promotion is in the books. We didn't do a lot in either cup, but you know, getting promotion at the first time of asking is pretty good going. We signed some very good young players for the future. A great start for the Prince of West Yorkshire.